Hello everyone, this is RaySpace and welcome back to my Neofly career in Microsoft Flight Sim. In this case it is Flight Sim 2024 because it's quicker to start Flight Sim 2024, frankly speaking. And I am taking up this mission to fly 58 passengers from EGSC, that's Cambridge in the UK, to EPPB Bednary in Poland, I believe. Yes, Poland. And it's a reasonably quick flight, but I have to be really quick on the takeoff because it has a deadline of 3:19 p.m. and it is currently 3:15. So let me pick it up and get on it, start flight. I really have to get off
Captain.
quickly.
Nice to see you again.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board. As you find your seat, may we request that you place large items in the overhead compartments and smaller sized belongings, including duty-free bags and liquids, under the seat in front of you. Our cabin crew are available to assist.
So, I'm continuing with the DC-6B in a Pan American World Airways livery, and I must go now, otherwise I won't be in time.
Captain, you are late. Take off in the next 10 minutes or we will have to refund some passengers.
Gosh darn it,
You're good to go. Contact the tower for clearance.
I was on time. My system clock is still at 3:18, so... Anyway, we are off the ground.
Ladies and gentlemen, the seatbelt sign will be switched off shortly. We recommend, however, that you keep your seatbelt loosely fastened at all times during the flight. If you
Gear
are
up.
using a blanket, we kindly ask that you fasten your seatbelt with the blankets remains visible to the cabin. Our in-flight meal service will commence shortly.
Flaps
Lunch
up.
follow later in the flight. Please refer to your personal menu cards for more details. If there is anything that we can do to make your flight more comfortable, please feel free to let us know. Thank you.
Looking good. Okay, well, I was in a bit of a rush, so I didn't really get Beyond ATC on the same page. I don't know why it's reading me as Airbus 12 here now. Beyond ATC, I mean. I wonder if I can change my... I don't know how to change my call sign in Beyond ATC. That is not the route I need. Something horrible has happened to my route.
Airbus 12, refresh transponder. Squawk 6763.
Alright. Squawk 6763, Airbus 12. London controlled is Airbus 12, squawking 6763, climbing at 4,000 feet. Alright, on we go, climbing up to 10,000 feet first. I actually recently visited England and Scotland
Airbus 12,
for the first
turn right,
time.
heading 175.
Turn right heading 175 is a little bit suspicious, but okay. Turn right heading 175, Airbus 12. Of course, the fact that I'm called Airbus 12 is also very suspicious, so I'll have to figure out how to change that in Beyond ATC. I mean, in my flight plan, I am not Airbus 12. I am Romeo Alpha 412, my normal call sign. But apparently Beyond ATC does not read my call sign from my flight plan. I don't know where it got Airbus 12 from. Alright, we've reached our cruising altitude of 13,000 feet. Not too bad for seeing stuff, but I don't know if there's got to be a whole lot to see. Just a lot of farmland around here. Not the most vivid farmland. It looked a lot more vivid in person. But anyway, we are reaching the southern coast of England here, or wait a minute, western coast? More like the eastern coast. Eastern coast of England here. And then we'll be on to the Netherlands, Germany, and then Poland.
Airbus 12. Contact Amsterdam radar 119.175.
Going to Amsterdam radar 119.175, Airbus 12. Beyond ATC is definitely taking longer to process speech than it used to. Maybe a bit overworked. Beyond ATC still says it's processing some speech. It's been at it for more than a minute. Yeah, I think Beyond ATC is sort of stuck. I had just called into Amsterdam radar, but they are not responding. Amsterdam radar, this is Airbus 12 approaching Tulip at flight level 130. Well, I tried to communicate again, but Amsterdam radar is definitely having problems. No land in sight yet. Should be approaching the Netherlands soon. Right after Tulip, appropriately named. Alright, there's the coast of the Netherlands finally, and we have a bunch of wind turbines below us. Spaced further apart than I'd normally expect. I don't know if it's necessary to space them apart like that. Anyway, they are there. There are these wide apart ones and then a bunch of smaller, closer together ones. I'm not entirely sure it is all accurate. I'm sure there are definitely wind turbines offshore of the Netherlands, but I'm not entirely sure about displacement. Seems like it's taking up quite a lot of water. Seems like a ship obstacle course though, frankly. Well, hello Netherlands. I wish the ground textures were a little bit crisper at this altitude. They look a little bit fuzzy. Anyway, there's Amsterdam ahead of us somewhere. A whole bunch of airplanes clustered at Eham on the map there. I'm a little bit north, but I'll be turning at Pam. So yes, cruising on by Eham, the Amsterdam airport. And over the city of Amsterdam. We are now over Germany, so out of the Netherlands, and sort of approaching Munster, EDDG. Unfortunately, Beyond ATC is basically given up on me. I'll try and tune my destination instead. Langen radar is Airbus 12 at flight level 130.
Airbus 12, reset transponder. Squawk 6602.
Okay, well, that's something. Squawk 6602, Airbus 12. Still wish I wasn't Airbus 12, but...
Airbus 12, Langen radar identified.
Alright, I have crossed into Poland. And let's get a look at Poland. This is Poland. Not a very remarkable part of Poland. At least I don't see any towns nearby, really. Warsaw Control, this is Airbus 12 at flight level 130, approaching Wabat.
Airbus ONE-2, Warsaw Control, radar contact. Airbus ONE-2, radar vectors, runway 28. Report ready for descent. Airbus ONE-2, descent to flight level 070.
Descend to flight level 070, Airbus 12. Okay, so we are going on descent here. Carburetor temp a little bit high. Okay, we were supposed to go to 7,000 feet, so let's hold it right there.
Airbus ONE-2, descent to 4,000 feet.
Descend to 4,000 feet, Airbus 12. Cannot accurately convey how grating it is to have the call sign Airbus 12 in this, but yeah. I mean, they say that Beyond ATC takes my call sign from the sim brief flight plan.
Airbus ONE-2, turn left, heading 340.
But that's not my call sign in this flight plan. So I don't know where it got it from.
Airbus ONE-2, airport ES at your 10 o'clock on miles. Report the field in sight.
I don't think they're doing a Polish accent justice here right now. Bednary Airport EPPB. $7,545-foot runway.
That wasn't the softest landing I've
Was
seen.
it? I thought it was pretty soft.
Taxi
Weird.
to parking and shut down your engine.
Well, I don't know if there's any special parking. Well, maybe. No, there's like a semblance of a taxiway over there. Well, honestly, I think I'm just gonna park on the grass here. Let's get the mixtures.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your safety, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the
We
seatbelt sign
survived.
has been turned off. Please ensure that you have all your personal belongings with you as you leave the aircraft. Also remember that smoking is only permitted in designated areas of the airport. You may now use your mobile and electronic devices if you wish to do so. Thank you and good afternoon.
So flight time was 2 hours and 48 minutes. It gave me the XP. The main reason I wanted this kind of passenger mission is because it gives a lot of XP compared to the other missions. And so that was good. And hopefully it'll pay me. Right now it has not paid me yet. They have to deboard, I suppose. I don't know why it's 34,000 pounds of payload when it was only supposed to be 12,000 though.
Transporter from dispatch. Disembarkation completed.
Alright.
Thank you. See you soon for another
So,
mission.
actual payment was 389,000.
Ready for engine start.
Very good. And I'll pick it up from Poland for the next flight. Well, since the first flight in this video, it has been 2 months real time. That's quite a gap, even for me. I've been very busy, but I'm looking to get back into flying this flight around the world with the DC-6, and I'm picking it up at EPPB at Bednary in Poland, And it looks like the best flight that I can pick up right now is this one to Ukraine. So yeah, that'll be good as long as I land softly. The requirement is to land less than 200 feet per minute, and otherwise it's about a 2-hour flight. So I'm gonna pick this up. I have purchased more fuel, about half of the full fuel load, but more than enough. We are carrying fuel, that is the payload.
Hello, Captain. Nice to see you again.
I'm happy to see that I didn't lose all my money in
Dispatch
the
to
2
pilot.
months,
The
of
cargo
course.
being loaded is documented as fragile. Please take extra care, especially when wheels are on the ground.
I could very easily have, lost all my money.
Aircrew, be advised, today's fragile cargo is being manually handled onto the aircraft at the customer's request.
Okay. So I'll just use the pad here to manage my load. Well, whoa. Did something just happen? Uh-oh. Well, that's the first time I've seen it go on its tail before. They didn't think they would load all the package into the rear. The fuel's set. I guess I need to add some passengers or something. Will those be further in front? Well, I guess there might not be any solving the situation before I go. No, I'm gonna zero that out and just take what I need to take here and hope I don't scrape things. Okay, well, it's all green in Neofly. That part's fine. It does sort of have a thing in the back to avoid tail strikes. I guess that's good. How will things go once I start moving? Can I nose it down? Well, oh gosh. Well, I guess that's how it's gonna have to be. Okay. That was weird. Here we go, though.
Have a nice flight. Keep the cargo secure.
On to Ukraine. Basically flying straight out here. Well, whatever chaos might be going on in the cockpit, still looks good. Nope, carburetor temp's bad. Oh, they went yellow in a hurry, didn't they? Well, I'm gonna keep the cruising altitude low. Probably just end up at 11,000 feet. Well, on our current route, we're gonna pass south of Warsaw, but I could potentially turn towards it just to take a look. So I'm gonna deviate from the straight line path and go towards Warsaw just to fly over it. Not that I'm going super fast, mind you. Ground speed 265. And pushing the engines as usual. Alright, we are directly over Warsaw. Somewhere down there, there's a Palace of Culture. That's one of the points of interest. But I don't know which of those buildings it is. Oh, I think it's right under the right wing right there. Right there. Yeah, we can clearly see a point of interest kind of building with high detail. Well, a little bit too high to fully appreciate it, of course. but we must continue on our way to bring the necessary supplies to Ukraine. So here I will make a turn back towards our course as we deviated from it in order to take a look at Warsaw. There is a palace that's also a point of interest in the Warsaw area. I mean, a point of interest in the game. But that's further south. I decided to fly over the Palace of Culture instead. Alright, I need to make a slight adjustment, but we are now crossing from Poland into Ukraine. I think the border must be that river. Well, it's apparently the Bug River. B-U-G. Alright, well, no apparent problems, as we are now in Ukraine. Alright, well, I'm about 37 nautical miles away from Zhytomyr, which is where I have to land. UKKV. Smokivka National Airport. The airport's at 722 feet. It's a 5,000 foot runway. Okay, well, pretty well lined up right now. 8,000 feet and descending. Probably should be descending faster. Oh, well, I see it. That's probably too close. Alright, you gotta take it off of autopilot and then sort of swing around. Well, not the most interesting part of Ukraine, I don't think. If they're willing to pay for fuel, that's fine by me. I don't know. It's been a while since I've flown this. Was the eye point always this bad? Well, I broke a few things.
Well, you've landed. We'll send maintenance to check the gear after you park. Contact ground for your parking assignment, then shut down your engine.
Well, this is my parking assignment. Oh gosh. I think part of the problem is I seem to have a bad center of mass, which is weird though. It's definitely got a center of mass that's out of kilter. I don't know why when loading it with cargo it's done that. Seems like a flaw. Yeah, you would expect the cargo to be distributed close to the center of mass, not in the tail or anything. That's the only thing that we're carrying, of course. There's no passengers, and of course the fuel is in the wings. So, it seems like something has changed. And of course, the DC-6 has not been updated by PMDG-4 Flight Sim 2024 officially. And they're still working on the 737, which is more of a priority than this. So I don't know when they're gonna like fix this, but I mean it mostly works, and it didn't have this problem with tail heaviness before. But yeah, I think that also made it hard to land. Alright, let me switch off the engines. I did land too hard, so I broke 60% of the fuel. That's their words. Yep, it says
Transporter, the cargo
broke.
has been delivered. Nice work. Have a nice day.
I didn't get any XP for the fragile cargo, unfortunately. And I didn't get paid as much as I would have liked. But anyway, yeah, I need to warm back up to this whole business. And yeah, we've got a bit of a technical issue. Come on, now if I get rid of the cargo, is it gonna flop normally? Okay. Now it goes back normal. So you see, it's just the cargo. It's just placing it too far back. So suddenly a bad CG issue with the DC-6. Well, I'll have to watch out for that. Clearly it's not safe to land like that at all. And it's not that great to take off with it, even though it has that little tail bumper. Alright, but another flight finish. I didn't actually perish, so it will continue. And I started the around the world flight from India, so that's where we're trying to get to. I've completed most of it. The distance between Ukraine and India is not that far compared to the distance I've covered with the DC-6 so far. So I will look forward to proceeding with this in future flights. So with that, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do press like. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'll see you next time.